Hi everyone. The today topic is how to create prepayment invoice in Fusion Payable application. So before we get into that, we'll give some background of the prepayment types. We can classify into two type of prepayments. One is temporary prepayment and the second one is permanent prepayment. So what are the two different type of to covering this session? So what is the meaning of temporary prepayment and permanent prepayment? So the temporary is that where we are going to pay to the suppliers subsequent invoices. I mean to say where you can apply on the subsequent invoices from the suppliers. And a permanent prepayment where we are not making the payment at that point of time. The example is lease deposits, etc. So now we'll get into application. I will show that how to create the prepayment and what are the types we have, and how to create them, and what are the status will be covered while creating prepayment invoice. How it will be changing the status also we'll cover in the session. So before that, I'll show you how it will be looks like. So after validation, the prepayment status would be unpaid. After making a payment, the prepayment invoice status called available, and post applied on standard invoice. The status is fully applied, and the accounting entry would be creating as prepaid expenses debit and liability account is credit. So these are the entries will get generated while we create a prepayment invoice in the Fusion application. Now we will get into application. So before creating invoice, we need to see what are the prerequisites are required in order to create prepayment. Go to setup and maintenance and go to manage invoice option where it will be controlling complete invoice screens. Scroll down, there is a tab called prepayment. Under that, we can see prepayment terms and settlement days. Here you can see the right hand side, there are two checkboxes are enabled. Show available prepayments during invoice entry. This is the most important configuration while we using the prepayment. If you disable this checkbox, then we can't see where the suppliers are having the prepayments. So mandatorily, we need to enable this checkbox if the client is using prepayment option. And payment terms. This is again, this is based on the client. Client will be determined that either we can use payment terms as immediate or there would be any other payment terms they wants to use it. So this is the one of the main configuration part we need to set up. Close and save and close. Go to payables. Click on invoice. Click on create invoice. This is normal invoice entry screen, which we discussed in the previous sessions. So no need to explain again these all the fields which are the mandatory, which are the things that's not mandatory. So get into the prepayment directly. Select our business unit, which is commonly used one, and select the supplier which he wants to create prepayment invoice. I'm selecting ABC Consulting, which is already available in the application. Now we can see all the default fields got populated by application. And here I can give the invoice number PR002. Already I created one. So that's why I'm giving to here $100. This is the critical part where you need to make observation. When you're creating type, we need to select as prepayment from the list of values. Okay, and again, save the record. We already populated the invoice header level information and get into line level. Click on plus symbol to create line, $100. Save and do the validation. This is a warning message. We can ignore it, no problem. To distribution level. Do the validation. See now, the invoice status showing as a unpaid because just we created invoice and kept it as it is. So there is no any other action we are done, right? So that is why it is showing as a unpaid status. Now click on invoice action. Click on post to GL. See the accounting entries. Prepaid expenses debit and liability account is the credit. And let me pay this invoice from here itself only from the payable application. Go and click on pay in full. Then we'll see the next status of the prepayment. After making the payment, what would be the status we will see. I will select as a buffer Bank of America and purple option. You can choose from any one of them. Standard check and payment document number. You can take it from list of value. Check stock A. So payment number automatically will be populated by the based on the payment document. Click on submit. So this is the payment reference number which system has already assigned. Say okay. Now we can notice here it is showing as available. Previously it was as unpaid. After making the payment, it is showing as available, right? So now we'll create another standard invoice for this particular supplier and we'll try to apply on the standard invoice and we'll see the next status of the prepayment, how it looks like. So get into invoice screen again. Select our business unit as US1. Supplier is ABC Consulting. Select, say okay. See here, as I told you, there is a checkbox which we enable, right? So now we couldn't able to identify that either this particular supplier is having the prepayment or not. So that will be populated after we provide the header level information and save the record. If you go and save the record, sorry, you need to provide a invoice number, right? Invoice number 0089, just let's example. And invoice amount is $150. Just go and save the record. So already exist. Okay, we'll give some unique number. Now we can notice here on next to supplier number, it is showing as a one bell icon. So that is taking care of the your existed prepayment information. Now we can see that what we created against this particular supplier in the previous step, available prepayment is 1. The amount is $100. So this is how the business users can identify either the supplier is having any prepaid invoices available or not available. If you're not enable that particular checkbox in the configuration level, so the user will not able to identify any existed prepayment invoices in the application while creating the invoice. So that is one of the changes in the cloud application. Similar rest of things similarly as it is in the EBS. So now we'll save the record and go to the line level. Click on plus symbol. Our invoice value is $150. I have taken as a distribution set here, so no need to provide any defaulted distribution combination. So again, I will go and save the record. So do the validation. So now you can see there is a tax amount got calculated by the system automatically based on the configurations. So since we are using the test instance, right? So that is why it is showing as a $163.50. So just make a change at the invoice header level. So it will get validated again. So 163.50. Do the validation again. Just warning message. Just click on continue. But see now it got validated. So now how do you go and apply the prepayment on this invoice? Just click on invoice action tab. Here you can notice one tab, apply or unapply prepayments. Just go and click on it. Here you can see. Similarly, what I would refer in the previous statement, this is same kind of our EBS functionality. Looks like everything, but the layout and the way of visualization of the screen is different, remaining the same. Select the invoice which we already we created, say apply. Now it is showing as a under applied session. Say OK tab. I mean to say done. Again it went to needs validation, right? Just you can create or click on validation. See again it got validated. Now we can go and look at just good. If you want to see the accounting entries, just go and create either post to GL or accounting draft. Let's say accounting draft. I do not want to transfer these entries into the GL at this point, so that I kept as a draft mode. Now there are a lot of entries got generated against each activity. So the reason being, as I told you, this is a test instance where it is have the different configurations. So now we can see item expenses 150, liability and non-recoverable tax. This ideally it is coming from a taxation application, and withhold the tax also got applied. So here you can see prepaid expenses got credited. It means, so when you try to apply prepayment on standard invoice, what it will go and do that? It will reduce the supplier outstanding amount. That is the major impact on the invoices. Save and close. Now we'll go back and we'll look at our prepayment invoice after making the payment. So how it is showing. Save and close. Call out our invoice number. I mean to say prepayment invoice number. ER002. Here is referred, you can notice validation status showing as a fully applied. It means there is no any pending prepayment on the supplier now. That is how it is showing. Just you can go into that in detail level. Here I can notice fully applied, right? So that is how the prepayment will works. So the summary of the session now, prepayment status, post validation, it will be unpaid, post payment, available, post applied on the invoice, fully applied. So these are the status will be occurred in the application. And if you go on, if you want to see more information, just go and click on this hyperlink. We will see what it is showing. Here also you can see the summary of the invoice. Here you can notice that payment is $98.10 paid, and there is no any error outs. Everything is fine. So this is how the prepayment should be creating in the Fusion Payable application. Thank you.